I'm taking a look at your gameplay from Reddit. I do this for fun. I'm not really a streamer or anything, but I think I see some things that could maybe help you out. You're asking about avoiding autopiloting. So we're running Winston, attacking Paraiso, or is that what this is called? Yeah. This is so Winston. We want to like avoid damage and get close, so that we can start to make things happen with our jump and our bubble. I think pathing to the right here is not a bad decision. You don't know what they're running. The challenge is going to be like walking through this space without eating a lot of spam. This way can be pretty good to hugging the wall. But if they do let you in here, you can do the standard soft dive right up here. Or you could even like come all the way, see how far you can get for free, and then make a decision about where you're going to jump. The thing, well, okay, and then one other thing is like we're really looking to get something done with our bubble, right? It's kind of like our biggest tool to help our team extend our life, and we want to use it when we absolutely need it, right? So if we look at this like first little bit, we come in, we kind of like see Doom and a healer next to him on the high ground. We ignored this. Now, if you hear a hack, you probably want to know that that's happening, because at the least, like, your healer's not going to be paying attention to you. And on mobile characters like Diva and Winston, you can do something about it too. You could probably just like invest a jump here and help force this Sombra out. Your Curie gets a clutch pick, which kind of sets you up to take the point, and we're not going to spend too much time on these first 2 points because you really roll them like your DPS are able to get a lot done. But we kind of like made the decision to jump up and clear the high ground, which is super normal and neutral. But you do want to check on what the hell your team is doing before you go. Like, can my supports heal me if I go out there? Or should I expect no healing? Are these dudes ready to run in and take better positions when I jump in and get attention, right? This is the main thing I notice, is you don't really check on your team that much. This bubble, I think it sets up the junk out here, but it doesn't get like a whole lot done. It puts pressure on Curie, Doom, and Lifeweaver. They're all like pulled over here, so it's like, I don't know, a B- bubble. I'm not sure you really needed it. It didn't help you, like, Doom just punches you off, right? But it does help your Junkrat, your Kiriko come in. That's fine. And from here, they backed off of like our first priority, which is this high ground. We want to make sure nobody is lurking up here for when we take point. That can just like wail on us from behind, right? And keeping track of the supports. We know that Kiriko used your bell pretty early on a Doom, so we can probably go pretty hard after if we see her, right? Always like the support cooldowns are the biggest thing, and the signal to swap onto them, right? Because you can't dive at Kiriko when she has all her stuff, but you can put her in a lot of trouble and make her panic teleport when she doesn't have bell, right? Same thing with Lifeweaver if he uses his dash, right? And we're kind of here. This is like, I don't know, kind of a neutral thing. We're worried about someone set up in here, right? This can be a really annoying spot to clear as Winston, because you don't want to go into those enclosed spaces. But we can Force this guy out. You're about to dive on a Life Weaver, and the main thing is also just thinking about where does this guy want to go, right? If you pressure him, where is he going to run away? And he's kind of either going to go into his team, which is straight into your team, which would be great for you, or probably most players default to trying to drop on one of these two things. So when you dive, you want to jump like behind him, like where he's trying to run, right? So this dive isn't as successful because you kind of like, right, we go to his left and he's already running away, so we're not going to kill him here. The Kira, however, has used her bell and her teleport, right? And by pressuring this support, you've forced her over here, so we can definitely like hard swat to the Kiriko if we kind of listen to her. Our team's got it though, so we're making some things happen, but we're also getting helped quite a bit. And this is all kind of cleanup. You know the Doom Fist is up. And you know people can recontest this point coming through these or high ground. I like that you miss a jump, but I like that you come up here. We see the Reaper and we take high ground. It's smart. And we're looking for what we can do next. I like this dive as like a safe place to pressure people who might blow their cooldowns coming in. Again, you have to check on your team. And no, nobody's going to help you at the moment, right? We kind of get Bell out for free here. And we're just creating a lot of space by zapping these supports. This is pretty good target priority. So now that they're on Reaper, so Reaper Sombra, we can again use her jump to force out Sombra. It's basically like half a kill because she has to go find a health pack and re-enter the fight and stuff. We're trying to avoid the Reaper and the Doom. He can mess us up a bit. He can peel pretty well for us, so we kind of have to be aware of what he's doing and when we have our own openings. Their supports we can pressure them, but they're a little hard to kill without help, right? But in general, versus the Reaper, we want to stay high ground, and I think we do a pretty good job of that. We see his Curie, she's like 1. But we do check on our team here, and we notice, oh, if I go deeper, I'll get boned. And that's really like avoiding autopilot is just always actively thinking about that. Like, oh, my team's here. They can shoot here right now. So I might be able to like actually die this Reaper because he's getting spammed, right? Or I can set up and I'm waiting for this payload to round the corner and maybe push up like a little more so that my team is close and has some angles on them. And that's when I'm gonna like push through and maybe take this spot that's super inconvenient to them, right? Because they're wanting to back off. So just thinking about like the cart really can help you a lot here. Thinking about like where do I want the next fight to happen and sort of like when is the time to go. We force the Reaper down with our spam, that's great. And now they have Echo. So Echo, you can actually kill pretty well if she's used her flight. Like right now. But then she can absolutely blow you up if she has her cooldowns. So we have to like be a little careful and maybe bubble when she's gonna use her sticky bombs. And kind of force her out. I like the melee cancel, obviously. We get the bell again. This Kiri, I think by now I would be noticing this Kiri is like really quick to bell. Whenever she gets the slightest bit of pressure. And I'd be thinking like, maybe I can force bell for free, like at the start of every fight, which would be really good for us. We bubble off the life lever, this is great. And we're pressuring out the people trying to contest. We're not worried about the Reaper on the cart because it's like a 4v1. We're concerned with protecting this high ground and probably checking and seeing if anyone's going to come over here, right? Here you go just a little deep. It gets you to point, so I don't hate it. We're not going to catch this echo, right? And their spawn is like right here, right? So it's a bit of tunnel vision here. Again, check on your team, right? They're all on point. And you could have done that even when you're up here. So we kind of like feed a bit, right? It's kind of a surprise Junker Queen switch, but you get the point. It's not like the worst play in the world, but also not the best, right? We're kind of like feeding for no reason. And we're dying like, the next fight, where do you want the next fight to happen? Or where is it going to happen? There's often a fight here on this choke once the cart comes through a little. And now they're on a composition that at close range can stuff chokes pretty well, which we'll like learn about later. So feeding at this time, not so great. I think if you got yourself in trouble like that, it might even be worth popping an ult just to survive. Especially because you have like this Junkrat, right? You can put a lot of pressure on their brawl comp. Fine. The other thing to notice is now they're Mercy Lucio, right? Which is theoretically a bad support comp. You have like a lot more healing output than them. So there's nothing wrong with, and you have better ults. There's nothing wrong with like farming Nano or farming Kiri ult if you don't know what else to do, right? We're winning a site, we don't care about Reaper. Again, we're like jumping if we look back. Do you know where your team is when you go in? Right, we kill the Reaper. We see the Lucio. We're gonna maybe cut him off. Right, we're not checking on our team, right? And they're riding cart, or even the cart, right? We don't really want to be fighting right now. We're not the best character solo diving at getting stagger kills. And we also know that Junker Queen, like they kind of switch to counter you, right? We know the Junker Queen's hunting us. We know they're in front of their spawn, right? So this is just like kind of like high risk, low reward. Our main thing we need to do right now, we need to think about, cards gonna come here. That's probably when they're gonna respawn. So fight's gonna be like around about here. It would be better for you to take the fight when a cart is like here-ish, because it'll be hard for the queen to walk on your Junkrat, and you get this high ground so you can like come back and drop the bubble. You could go around the backside here and kill someone spamming from their spawn. They probably won't do that with the comp that they have. But right now, like, that's the most dangerous thing, is like if they take these map positions. So we're going to keep that clear. We're going to check our Ana's up here so we know like this is a good place to fight. This, we probably have line of sight on here. If we go down, we don't have line of sight on here, right? So I think it's just like actively thinking, okay, where is this next fight gonna be, and like where's the best place for me to be at any time. And we should be thinking like, how are we gonna use our primal? So right, like Junker Queen's walking up here. We could be set up to prevent this, like here. Or we could have even been up here earlier. And zapped her as she was like walking up the stairs, right? And backed up. She's in line of sight of her Ana. If we back up, our Ana will put damage out into her. Your Ana's like doing pretty good, by the way. Could maybe hit her with a sleep or an anti or something like that. She can really fuck her shit up, right? So we kind of get like forced out for free here. And kind of let the Junker Queen walk all the way, this long way, into our backline, right? This is just kind of a bad primal. You're already not going to get really card progress from this. You're already down some dudes. And their spawn is like right there. So unless you get like a 2-to-1 trade, you're not going to cap point, right? And you're feeding them a lot of ult charge. But I think you want to switch Rein here. We could have primaled the Junker Queen like off of the high ground, by the way. That would have been probably a pretty good play. So now we're Rein. We want a nice and close fight. We want to rotate and push through a choke and find a corner to swing on, right? So ideally we want to be taking this fight, like forcing them back this way. It's pretty classic for brawl comps to fight over this basketball court. The thing to notice is like this isn't a corner, right? Like you want to swing from here, but they can be back and still have some cover to play on. And also, they have a comp that like unless your soldier takes a good off angle, you're gonna lose a fight at close range to this comp because the Junker Queen has her own self-sustain. The Reaper can fuck you up at close range, right? And the Echo, if she takes a good angle of any sort and directs her fire like into this little choke, it's gonna be really hard for you to push even with your shield, right? So we need to save our shield at the very least for getting up to here. We want to kind of get through this hallway as soon as possible. I think right now you're kind of trying to decide what to do. And we also want to know where Reaper is. He's down there, yeah. So we just like take too much time trying to, like we're not really going to kill an Echo all the way over there with like a firestrike. You had something better to do at this time, and that was take the map before they were able to rotate, right? And we're just like a little slow to that. Our soldier is just main, which is kind of a bad idea. It's a good hammer block. Fine pin. We're gonna die anyway, we just probably should swing. Okay. These ults are a little wacky. Because we're like way down in this fight, and our Ana says, Junker Queen says it's time to ult. Lucio says it's time to ult. Your Ana's like a nano, like fuck it. I guess they're all a little close, but most of these guys can get away from you. as Rein. A decent pin. Let's see what happens. Right. So we get a lot of ults traded. We want to really hold this corner. If we're going to back off, we hold this corner, right? We can just swing kind of for free. They're going to have like as much trouble as you're having pushing through here. They're going to have trouble pushing you out, right? Even though it's like a 3v4, but now your soldier's finally on a different angle from you, right? We want to be back here so we can see this and get our shield back. He kind of like pin in with pretty low shield health, I think. Yeah, see, it's like 600. Right, we're kind of pushing with low resources. And now they're just gonna like roll us out, right? So around about now, if like our main problem is this cluster of dudes, right? We're pushing into it, we're eating a lot of spam. They've been using some ults too. But we might think about a different, rotation of some sort. Like, we could just go under and force point. That is a pretty good option. Similar thing, we could go like around here. Turn the map around a little, force point. We'd even like, I think on Rein this would be a little wacky. Because it even force like a long thing to give your soldier more room, and your Junkrat could then spam them like through here, right? The thing is, Rein is a little weak to spam, right? Because you have your shield, and so they like break it. They can just like throw a bunch of damage at you. Junker Queen can kind of like, she wants to hide anyway a lot more. So pushing through that narrow choke can make life hard for you. So we go in here. I'm gonna get our shatter. I think we kind of want to just like build nano, build shatter, win off ults. I don't mind this. We shatter now. Right. Boom, we get these guys. The other thing I don't see you really do is firestrike cancel. Which, you know, we can do a surprising amount of burst on Rein if we swing, and in the middle of our swing we connect with someone, we firestrike. We pin back. I'm glad you look at your team for once. Oh, I guess we're trying to force this Reaper out. That's fine. We still have our shatter. We can use it like here. I would be just keeping on trying to roll the picks in, right? We want them staggered and coming out of the spawn one at a time, because otherwise we're going to have trouble capping. That's sort of a firestrike cancel. We could shatter Lucio right now. Fine shatter. We can just swing on Junker Queen right now. Shield this. Firestrike cancel someone. Right, we kind of let that get away from us. We didn't quite control their team. Probably chill here. We used our nano and Kitsune. And now we have less healing, so we have to wait longer behind cover, right? But we do have speed boost. So what we want to do, again, we're kind of chilling here, and I'm not sure we're really accomplishing much other than losing shield health. Probably just like walk here, right? You need to be thinking the stages of what you're going to do, right? They've been holding this basketball court really firm, so what are we going to do about it? I could like jump to the side and surprise pin. All the way back here even, turn them around. If they all turn to look at me, my Junkrat walks and kills him in the back, right? Look at this mercy pick, big opening. Soldier is doing sight, so we want to swing, right? Almost. We need to work on our firestrike cancels, I think. We're looking for the Lucio. I think you do an okay job of putting damage on supports. Pushing the tank like when it makes sense. Is just clean up. Want to get that support. Or sorry, that DPS. He's like much more dangerous than the Queen in terms of like he can just like instant kill your soldier, right? So when you're trying to cap out the point, just make sure DPS are always a priority, especially because they usually blow their mobility to like touch. Like this guy doesn't have fade, right? He's 2 swings from death or a swing and a firestrike cancel. There you go. Missed that. And there we go. Pretty good. And fast forward. I'm back on Winston on defense. Again, like, the main thing that I saw when I was watching this is just going a little too early. Or rather, like, going in without kind of thinking through, like, is this productive for me right now? So, like, when you get some stuff done, we're holding the high ground, it's fine, neutral, Winston play. We got to pick. We want to stop the res. I agree with this. Rezoning the Hanzo. This is all pretty good, but now we're like in front of their spawn. We got these guys to back off. And the thing to remember is your team's like up here, right? They can't shoot this guy. Right? We look at your BAP. He can't shoot this guy, he's focused on you. And this can be dangerous because the Hanzo, if he like peeks his corner, you can see him right there. And your BAP's like focused on hard pocketing you here, he can get like popped, right? So we kind of like got what we wanted to do, we go back. It's fine. But we kind of like hang our Junkrat out to die. That's a little on him. Now we've got to play a little passive. We're down a pick, their spawn's right there. We can be okay giving them this space if we need to. And holding like up here-ish, right? Or on this bridge. Nice and close. And this is nice, you save your leap and bubble the Winston. But we're kind of like maybe a little focused on peeling the Winston instead of keeping an eye on this Hanzo, right? Like, let's see what happened here. And we're counter diving Winston. Come back up. With some Winston. We're a little focused on the Winston getting too much done, which he's not going to kill anyone, right? And you don't do a lot of damage to him. But we see this Hanzo a little too late, right? We really have to focus on that. We don't want these characters, like, rotating into dangerous spots. We kill him. We need to be thinking through, again, what's our plan to win? We're down a dude. At least I think 2 are walking back. We know we're going to have to fight on the point if we want to contest, and we're hoping probably to get primal. So I'd be looking to maybe even hide once they go hard after this soldier. Make sure your BAP survives, because he can help you. And looking for someone coming in this way. I might even drop down here. Because you know, like, the tank's gone in, it seems safe to these guys, they're gonna kind of like trickle in and default. And that's how you can, like, turn a fight, right? We do a good job disengaging there, though. But lose your soldier for it without trading. I like that you jump out to that location, but we're just kind of zapping the Winston too much right now. If you want to counter dive Winston, you probably need to be like Diva or something that can actually kill him. And we're thinking now, can we recontest? Probably not. Right? Okay, we get like these ults out. Ult economy in this game is really bad. In general. We're close to our primal. We just killed 2, right? So we're like, okay, let's go in. I'm glad you didn't go straight to payload. But you kind of could with your primal. You can make like a play to go really deep. So let's think about this a little. Their dive, they have a Winston. Winston on their team can kind of get more done against your junk, your soldier and your BAP than you can. Like, you have Ana to dive, and that can force Mercy to go pocketer, which can, like, open up the echo. Well, actually, you have Hanzo too, you can go get. But what we really don't exactly want is a fight with a card here. Because their team, like, their longer range dudes are just gonna, like, chill back here or up here. And if you pressure them, there's no one, like a tracer or something, to go backline with you. So you're never gonna get much done here, right? Now, if the card comes out, like, here-ish, then they're trying to take cover on it, right? Like over here, and suddenly, like, you can take this high ground and be really dangerous. You can be really annoying from this high ground, right? We can drop. And actually, if the card goes even a little further to this, like, uphill part, that could be really good for you too. But you need to make that decision by looking at, like, where's my team set up? Where does my Junkrat want to spam? Where's my soldier? Where is your soldier? And spawn. Right? We're kind of in a loop of, like, I'm just trying to pressure things. And, like, this is not a bad idea to, like, force out the Hanzo to make sure he doesn't get any picks. And let your team deal with the Echo Winston. I don't even mind, like, the bubble exactly. But now we're gonna primal here. Right, and your whole team's dead, right? Their spawn's right there. What are we really getting done with this primal? Like, maybe we kill Hanzo, but even then, spawn's right there. They're just gonna push cart anyway. So our decision has to be either die on cart or maybe we can get out and contest a little earlier. Right? We're kind of like defaulting into pressure. I'm just like feeding a lot of charge. So I think that's the other big thing with your Winston is like your primals, you just need a little more thought. What with also thinking like, okay, these like some ults, we have both of our support ults, so we can win this next fight if we set it up right. So we want to be looking, since Bap has the window, I'm not sure if he's coordinating with Soldier, but we want to set up so that the Bap gets a good window. And like when the cart's here on these corners, that's actually a pretty good opportunity for a dive tank, right? Because people naturally position themselves around it, right? So if we imagine that we took this fight a little later, or we held off, like we pulled back instead of primaling, we dropped around about now for free. We have bubble, we have leap if we need it. We can pressure these guys out, right? And they don't really have a good place to fall back because you're coming from behind their cover, right? It's the same thing like on Dorado, like holding the red building. But instead, we're probably going to take the fight on this choke here, which is, it's okay, but the problem with it is it's harder to take the high ground behind them. It's harder to get into their back line because they're going to spread out to pressure this choke. We can just kind of play from here. We're, again, paying a little too much attention to the Winston. There we go. I think this is a pretty good play. Dropping like you did, just walking past him. But we need to get the fuck out. We just eat like a little. Because now we're a little on the back foot. And this is well played. Not gonna do much against the Echo. Again, we need to like check on our team. This would be a good time to cut off this Winston with a bubble. Right? He used his jump, he used his bubble, he doesn't have anything. Yeah, great. Force her out. Very good. Now, here, okay, we take this. I almost wonder, several times you notice, like the Hanzo kind of comes here, right? And we've been able to force him back by diving kind of straight at him. But I wonder if you had just like stayed here. Your team pushes up because you're up. That's fine. You should be looking maybe to lurk a little. I don't see like ambush that much with Winston right now. A little upfront about what you're doing, which, you know, it draws attention. I think there's a good bubble. You know where your team is this time. I think you're looking for this Hanzo. We kind of get a little distracted here. They're chasing kills. Miss our jump. We could have survived. Could have primaled. Your goal there needs to be, can I get primal and use it to stall? To hold this checkpoint here, because your spawns are like right there, right? they were coming in. I want to control basketball court, but it's like not as important. As opposed to Rein, where we want to swing on them when they're pushing in. We kind of want to let them go somewhere and then punish them as they're adjusting to like what their tank is doing. And find the Echo who's used flight and is coming this way. And then we dive behind her, right? Find a Mercy who's low. It's like a timing thing, yeah. It doesn't help that some of our homies are like a little brain dead with their positioning. I like that you boot this Ana in. You should just boop her in more. Probably didn't need to jump. Just boop her in more. Right? We let ourselves chase a kill a bit. We force our Kiri to Bell, and she probably tellied to us too, didn't she? Yeah. And we're like putting her in spawn right in front of the people who want to kill her, right? So, low value. You were, I think, trying to kill the Ana, but they have a Mercy, she'd res it, right? You can't stay there and pressure her for the res. And no one on your team can shoot in here, right? So we just didn't check on our team before hard committing. And, you know, our Kiri fucked up, but we kind of made that happen. And now we're like on a back foot when we really wanted to be fighting about now. This cart, if it comes out a little more, because it's this great flank down here. This great flank up here. So I think you just need to think about your team a little more. Okay, Junker Queen. I think this is a fine switch. It seems like you're thinking that Winston's doing too much. I'm not sure if that's exactly true. Right, what we want to be able to do is get on this guy. Go around the back, get on this guy. Winston, whatever. Right? Use your axe swing on Winston. You know, you're in a bubble. This guy you kill if you axe swing. This guy you kill if you axe swing, right? Either of these guys much better targets. We're kind of like feeling like we're losing, afraid of getting tank diffed or something like that. And we're kind of defaulting to just focusing Winston a little too much, right? I thought you were going to go for the Ana here. Or these two guys, you could have hit both of them, right? But kind of sinking damage in their Winston, which is only going to charge their nano. And you like lose a player. So anyway, you don't need to look at the rest of this. It was a close game. I think the main thing for you is thinking about like there's a lot of pressure to like get a kill as a tank. Like you feel like you're doing your job. But what you really need to think about is like, you need to check on your team a lot more and think about where they can shoot, and then think about the cart, like, where do I want the cart to be? When do I want to take this fight? And how do I preserve my resources enough to be able to get something done with it? On Rein, I think you can... Clearing high ground is really good, but you need to think about, after maybe a couple pushes up to the basketball court, you probably should have thought about, like, why isn't this working, right? And the thing about Rein is, if people, like we saw at the end of your attack, if people start jumping on the cart to stall it, like, he's just going to absolutely murder everyone. He wants people at close range. And forcing their team to drop and maybe mess up their positioning and stuff like that. If they're holding a choke really well, like forcing them to rotate somehow, where maybe not everyone will do it, or someone will mess up, or someone will use a cooldown, that can be a lot more valuable. You just need to know the approaches you can take where you can like avoid spam and get something done. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.